Our story begins with Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind, a charismatic and intelligent man. Reynolds was the brains behind the operation. Alongside him were Gordon Goody, Buster Edwards, and other seasoned criminals, each bringing their own expertise to the table. But how did they conceive such a bold plan? It all started with a simple idea: to rob a Royal Mail train carrying millions in cash. The gang meticulously planned every detail, from the timing to the escape routes. They even built a replica of the train's interior to practice. The stakes were high, but so were the potential rewards. Little did they know, their audacious plan would go down in history as one of the most legendary heists ever. But how did they pull it off? The gang had meticulously planned every detail. They rigged the signals to stop the train in the middle of nowhere, near Bridego Bridge. As the train halted in the eerie silence of the night, the robbers sprang into action. Wearing masks and wielding weapons, they moved with military precision. The train crew, taken completely by surprise, were quickly overpowered, ensuring no one could raise the alarm. The gang's efficiency and coordination left the crew with no time to react, securing the train as their captive. With the train under their control, the gang moved swiftly and methodically. They detached the engine and the first two carriages, knowing that the precious cargo lay within. Driving them to a predetermined spot where their loot awaited, the robbers demonstrated the foresight and planning that had gone into their operation. In a matter of minutes, they unloaded 120 mailbags filled with cash, over £2.6 million, a staggering amount in 1963. Each member knew their role, and the heist unfolded like a well-rehearsed play, with no time wasted and no detail overlooked. But the heist was only half the battle. The robbers now faced the monumental challenge of disappearing without a trace. They had planned their escape with the same meticulous care as the robbery itself, using multiple vehicles and safe houses to throw off any potential pursuers. As dawn broke, the countryside that had witnessed their daring operation began to wake up, and the news of the Great Train Robbery started to spread like wildfire. The police, alerted and eager to catch the perpetrators, launched a massive manhunt. Despite the gang's efforts to cover their tracks, the enormity of their crime attracted intense scrutiny. Safe houses were abandoned, and vehicles were stashed in remote locations. Yet, for a brief moment, it seemed as though the robbers might just slip away, their carefully laid plans holding up under the pressure. The police were relentless, however, and the chase was on. The country watched with bated breath as law enforcement closed in, determined to bring the masterminds to justice. The Great Train Robbery had become a national sensation, with every detail of the heist scrutinized and every move of the robbers followed closely by the media and the public. The robbers had pulled off one of the most audacious heists in history, but their escape would prove to be just as dramatic as the robbery itself. After their daring escape, the robbers sought refuge at Leatherslade Farm. Here, they counted their monumental haul, £2.6 million, a fortune beyond their wildest dreams. The gang was jubilant, basking in their success. But amid the celebration, cracks began to form. The haul was staggering, but with great wealth came great risk. The gang's meticulous planning had led them this far, but now, they faced a new challenge: staying hidden. Little did they know, their temporary sanctuary was leaving behind traces that would soon draw unwanted attention. Back in London, the police were hot on their trail. The sheer scale of the heist had ignited a massive manhunt. Forensic teams scoured the scene, uncovering crucial evidence. Fingerprints, footprints, and even the abandoned mailbags provided leads that started to unravel the gang's perfect plan. The public was fascinated by the audacity of the crime. Headlines screamed of the Great Train Robbery, and everyone had an opinion. The media frenzy only fueled the pressure on the police to bring the culprits to justice. Meanwhile, at Leatherslade Farm, the robbers knew their time was running out. The sense of security was fading, replaced by tension and paranoia. As days turned into weeks, mistakes began to pile up. The gang's initial cohesion was breaking down, and with it, their chances of evading capture. It wasn't long before the police closed in. A tip-off led them to the farm, where they found damning evidence. The gang's hideout turned into a trap, and one by one, the robbers were rounded up. The perfect heist had given way to the inevitable downfall. In court, the drama reached its peak. The robbers faced a barrage of evidence, fingerprints, testimonies, and their own mistakes. The trial was a spectacle, capturing the nation's attention as justice was served. The verdicts were harsh, with sentences that reflected the gravity of their crime. The robbers' dreams of wealth and freedom ended in long years behind bars. But for some, the story didn't end there. What became of the robbers behind bars? And what about those who managed to evade capture, like the infamous Ronnie Biggs? Join us next time as we explore life after the heist, the prison years, the escapes, and the cultural impact of this incredible tale.